Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Orange Pill Podcast. My name is Graham Elwood here at the beautiful Orange Pill Studios in gorgeous downtown San Salvador. Very special guest joining us today from the organization that she's going to discuss, Me Premier Bitcoin. Please welcome to the show, Reyna Chicas.
Hello. Thank you. Thank you, Graham. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for joining us. So I met you when I was here in November at the Adopting Bitcoin. I was emceeing and I introduced you, and you had such an amazing story. You were speaking at Adopting Bitcoin this past November, and your story is that you came a year prior and didn't know anything. So I want you to explain, tell us your whole Orange Pill story, what got you into Bitcoin, when you first heard about it, what you thought of it at first, and to where you are now, where you work for Me Premier Bitcoin.
Yes, thank you. So like I was, I said on the story in November, that was in November, in Adopting Bitcoin. Adopting Bitcoin is this conference that is being hosted every November in El Salvador since 2001 and 2002.
Just take this right there.
Right there.
There
right
you go.
There. Okay.
Perfect.
Cool. Yes. Okay. Be kind, people. It's the first time live.
She's doing live. She's never done live first, so we wanted to go gentle, easy.
Okay, cool. And yeah, so I was into Bitcoin probably end of 2020. I've heard about it from my brother probably the first time because he's been more techie than me. I do like technology, but then it was like a lot of us, just trying to make more dollars out of it. So I was like, okay, I've heard of this. I think women, we are a little bit more cautious with our money. So I saw the other cryptos, but I was like, that doesn't look like super safe. Let's just stick with this one, that it was probably worth around 50 or 60 at the time, thousand. And I did start buying Bitcoin. It actually just went down, right? Like, oh no.
And you were like, oh no, this is awful. Did you think like I made a mistake when it started going?
Not really, maybe. But then, the rumors about the law came to effect, like here, like it was going to happen as Bitcoin as a legal tender. So then it was different. I'm like, okay, maybe I should start checking into this different. This is something that is coming to my country, so I should know about it. And we investigated. I ran into videos, thank God, of Andreas Antonopoulos. That's why, Max is not here, but to me, he's such a legend as well. After seeing some videos, and I remember once I heard a voice that sounded familiar, and then I was like, is that Max Kaiser? And then actually Andreas was like, is that Max? So it's very funny because I'm like, that's the guy that is here in El Salvador trying to orange people on these videos from Andreas from 2005 probably. It's like he's already there. So that's how I got into it. Then I've heard also from YouTube, found Me Premier Bitcoin. I think it was a meetup. A YouTuber, just posted a video that there is this organization here trying to educate people. John talked about it a little bit, John, our founder. And then after that, I tried to go to a meetup to see what was that about. I ran into some people, and then I attended the conference in 2002, Adopting. 2022. I was like, okay, this, and it's funny because I was trying to save, tickets started for Salvadorians over $100. It's quite a lot. And then someone on a Telegram group posted that for Salvadorians was just $21. And I was like, oh, that's good. Then I can buy the ticket. So I bought the ticket because I speak English. I was able to.
I just want to interject this real quick to make this clear to the audience. This is one of the cool things about Adopting Bitcoin and about Bitcoiners in general is the conference. To go to that conference, the ticket was like around $100 for the weekend or so, but they made the price lower for El Salvadorians. They made it $21. And there was even a way for you to buy a ticket for yourself and also fund El Salvadorians. So they gave away a certain number of free tickets to El Salvadorians because they really didn't want this to just be a bunch of, people from other countries, rich gringos coming down here or whatever. They wanted it to be accessible for El Salvadorians because, the minimum wage in this country is something like $400 a month or something like that.
Yes, $390 actually.
$390. So $100 is a lot of money for if you're making $390 a month.
If you want to just pay a ticket.
Yeah, if you just want to buy a ticket.
Yeah.
So the fact that they lowered the price and made it a possible for people to just contribute to help El Salvadorians, I think was a really cool thing that Noor
did,
and Kamal did, who created the festival. But so anyway,
amazing. And also even this year they even lowered it to $1. Like at the last month it was like, okay, any Salvadorian wants to go, it's just significant, right? It's just basically for you to get Bitcoin, but because you can only pay your ticket with Bitcoin. So that was it. And even in 2001, I saw, the broader audience with English, even last year, 23, but we had more talks and there were designed places already more in Spanish. So that means that, most Salvadorians got involved even last year. I can only imagine 2024, we're getting into a bull market. I hope that I'm going to see more Salvadorians there. But adopting Bitcoin to me was like, goodness, like this is it's just another word. I was just here going to meetups with 5 or 10 people at the beginning. And not even that, like I was afraid of going on my own. I don't have, a lot of friends that were into that. So after that, adopting and then getting more involved with me, Premier Bitcoin, can know what happened first. But it was just to me that it's just a broader word, first of all, in opportunities or what you can do. And it's just this epiphanies in life that you have, I guess, because I'm over 30 now, that I wanted to do something different, like meaningful. If I try to think in an orange pill moment, there is probably not one, but it's maybe it was a period when you know that this is sort of bigger than Bitcoin, bigger than just saving money and of course keeping your purchasing power. The stuff is everything else that is doing to the world. Unbanked people here in El Salvador, inflation, people you run into different things when you want to learn about Bitcoin, especially on YouTube. There is people or channels that said mining is bad for the environment. Then you run into this, mining in Africa, that they're actually not that bad for the environment. They are creating opportunities for people in disadvantaged areas. And I started working with my Prima Bitcoin because it was basically more, and actually not even working, just volunteering. That's how we start. It's just volunteering your work, your skills. Mostly, of course, we're an education organization, so it's basically teaching. But there is a lot, now it's a lot going on. So we need marketing, we need operations, so it's more, right? But back last year, 2023, it was learning the Bitcoin diploma, taking it, the course. We haven't even get into that, right? But I'll explain more. And that's how I started with them. And then little by little, I was working as a freelancer with different clients. And I started, sort of, quitting or firing, whatever you want to go, one by one, until I was able to go full time with Mi Primer Bitcoin. I said this, I think in another podcast, that I wanted to go full digital nomad mode after reaching that. And then because of the mission, because of the vision that we have, and because of the purpose that this gives for El Salvador and then also worldwide, I thought that the best thing was to stay in El Salvador in the meantime, right?
So you were at that point going to Uruguay, no?
No, I was going to actually in Guatemala because I lived
okay.
in Guatemala for 5 years. And I came back end of 2020. And then I had the opportunity to also teach the Bitcoin diploma from Mi Primer Bitcoin in Guatemala. It was going to be a 10-week program, just like our diploma, 10 chapters. It turned out to be 6 months. During those 6 months last year is that it became, sort of clear, oh yeah, I would like to work more with you guys when I go back to El Salvador. And, I spoke with Adam, our COO, John, founder, what roles I could take in. And, it's just worked. And you are getting these, you can speak at this podcast. It was the first time I will speak on a podcast, and then another one, and this one is live. So in November, I remember it was John, you should speak at Adopting Bitcoin. And I'm like, are you sure? Really? Yeah. I'm just like, what am I going to say? It's like, yeah, your story, like you came here this year. What have you done? What we do? What does it mean for Salvadorian lives to get more education, not just about Bitcoin, but in general? For women, it's a little bit, sometimes it's technical, it's politics, it's finance. So we get scared when we get into this world a little bit sometimes. But I think we're warm. So of course we're kind with people, that we are happy people in El Salvador. So I wanted to contribute to have that local context, so far, we had these gringos, let's say founders that are coming to the country and trying to, of course, teach people, like Max and Stacy, but it's different if you go to your community and like, this is real. Like, I was really like just Salvador, regular, Salvador, I'm not rich, like just, working class and just trying to do my best to succeed at life, whatever succeed means to you. And I have these opportunities now, not only on workload or what I do, but you're happy, and I'm sure you feel the same when you have so much work and what you want is just basically have more hours in the day. You're not tired about a long day. It's just like, it's done and I cannot buy more time, right? But we can buy more Bitcoin. And that's it. That was in a short, yeah.
I mean, one of the things that was so cool at adopting Bitcoin, when Kamal and Nora asked me to MC, I was like, I'd love to do this, as I got to meet you and all of these other cool people in the Bitcoin space. And when I found out your story of how a year ago in 2022, you were adopting Bitcoin and you were like, didn't know much about Bitcoin. And now here you were giving a presentation in Spanish. And before I introduced you, I asked the audience, I said, is there anybody here that doesn't know anything about Bitcoin, that's just trying to figure it out? And this El Salvadorian woman like kind of raised your hand and I said, you're in a safe place, man. Like all of us, this is the thing that's beautiful about Bitcoin. I think 99% of Bitcoiners initially were like, what? Yeah. I mean, people who are highly skilled technically, like finance people and computer and technical people, I think they got it quicker.
Yep.
But I'm not that. I mean, I'm a comedian. So when I first heard about it, I was like, I don't get this at all, man. Digital money. I mean, it just sounded nuts to me. Like, this is just rainbow unicorn money. Like, it made no sense to me. So I think it's important to help when you orange pill people to remember where each of us, anyone watching this who's a Bitcoiner and gets it, remember where you were when you first heard about it. And we're like, huh? So I remember saying to this woman, I said, she raised her hand and I said, okay, you're in the right place. I go, this next woman coming up here was exactly where, literally probably in the same seat you were a year ago, sitting there going, I don't know what this is. This is overwhelming. All of these people from around the world, because there's a lot of really smart, sharp people in the Bitcoin space where you go, dang, I mean, you're like, they have all these degrees. They've done all this. They have a whole career behind them of all of this tech. They've designed websites and software and all this stuff that to me is like, and so to have somebody like you say, like yourself, and then you got on stage and I remember I saw that woman several times throughout the festival. And I said, how are you doing? She's like, this is great. Like I'm learning more. She was like, I saw the orange light go off in her head. And that's what is so cool. And specifically to El Salvador is, I mean, even yesterday we had on the show, the Mauricio, the Minister of Education. And I think his story is like a lot of El Salvadorians didn't know much about Bitcoin till maybe 3-4 years ago.
It's absolutely right.
Yeah.
It is absolutely right. Like I went to adopting because I thought it was going to be, I mean, it is, right? But it was going to be a learning experience. I'm like, I need to learn more about this. So let's go to this conference. And then you see all of these different things happening. There is so much that you can do in the Bitcoin space. I mean, we have Lena, right? Like, comics, and this is just so much that I couldn't, like, I was checking the schedule. I'm like, where am I going to go? You have to choose the ones to do live and the ones that you can watch on the replay. And I mean, if you believe in the universe or whatever, it's exactly what you said, with that lady, because I remember you said that, who is here for the first time? And this was not planned. Like I had to go to the stage, earlier, right? And then my parents they were sitting at the same spot that I was alone on my own the year before. So it's like, oh my God, this is crazy. I go there. And yes, when they send the schedule adopting, and then they put me as an opener, it's, like I never in a million years, I will think that I will give, a presentation about El Salvador, about what Bitcoin education is doing here in front of over 300 people, not in my native language, right? And yeah, I remember being so nervous. I watched the replay a little bit after, and I tend to speak faster, even nervous. But it was really cool. That's how we met. And yeah, we run into each other in El Santos, and that's how we're friends. It's so cool. I met so many, like after that conference, is that my mind also was like, I need to do something. Like I have to get involved somehow. And then my Primer Bitcoin was basically, like the vehicle or the one that was already there. But once I also got to meet the team and the mission and what we do, why we do what we do, then of course I decided to stay.